as a big step for my career now is actually I will do a race in Long Beach in a few weeks' time, where I will get paid to drive. So
wow.
That's a new thing. Yeah.
Take that $100 bill and frame it and put it on your wall.
For sure.
That's like a first. Excellent. Hey, car guys. Today I'm back in Denmark. I'm up north in the part of Denmark called Jylland. I'm in the little village of Struer, which some of you hi-fi freaks might know because this is the hometown of world famous Bang Olufsen. And today is the hometown of Mikkel O, Pedersen, who's the Danish racing driver, World Endurance Championship. And he just took delivery of his brand new Porsche race car. I'm gonna go in there and have a chat with him and look at his car. So tag along and follow me. Michele.
Welcome to.
Thank you. We're speaking English now.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry.
Welcome. Mikkel obviously is Danish, but this is an international show, so we're gonna do this in English. Mikkel, thank you for having me. And I'm already completely blown away out of my socks because you have so many cars.
I mean, we have every car from the old 930 turbos to the newest generation GT3 race car. I mean, we have, of course, the workshop back here, repairing cars, old Porsches and newer cars as well. But in here, it's basically a race team servicing the cars, making sure they are fast with the alignment, the setup, and in general, my part of this is coaching the drivers. Yeah. I mean, in cars, in total, we have about 25 cars. Yeah. Not all cars are home at the moment. But as a team, we have just 2 cars of our own.
Yes. Let's focus on you because you just got this magnificent creature. This is your new car.
Yeah,
it's the wrap is still wet, I think, because you had this for a month or so.
Yeah, I mean we're not quite finished yet, but this is the.
It still has the delivery stickers.
Yeah, it's a 2026 992 GT3R Evo. So this is the current Le Mans car. It's brand new.
Top of the line.
Top of the line. It doesn't get better than this. The newest model with a lot of changes. We can go through with this. And we can make, if you want, we can make a comparison with the old car just here. This is the 991.2 GT3R.
Can we go for a drive in it? I mean, my prejudice idea is in this part of the country, you don't really have police, do you? I mean, it's a dry, beautiful day.
We have a local officer somewhere, but
we better not.
Yeah. So this is the Evo model with a few new changes. So we have a different kinematic, different changes with the diff. Of course, some aero options. This is fancy new lip on the wing.
Yeah. It's a gurney lip, a gurney flap.
Yeah.
Dan Gurney named this one back in the 60s.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then we have the new fenders here, which is also the Evo update. So this is just the visual we see. But we can go inside and I can show you a bit more.
Tell me, Mikkel, how do you even qualify to buy one of these cars? I mean, I couldn't do it. I don't have the funding, but I couldn't do it even if I did.
No, it's extremely difficult to get one of these. I mean, I have quite a history with Porsche, and I know of the persons who hand out the cars, let's say, and even so, it's I mean, for a year and a half, I was probably calling and texting them every week.
Yeah.
So, but in the end, we managed to get the car.
And maybe we should just touch on to that, because you have had what I perceive as quite a traditional racing career. As a tiny little boy, you were put in a go-kart, you were good at it, and then you had a couple of seasons in open-wheel racing, Formula Ford, and then pretty early on, you were drawn into the Porsche environment. Can you explain your career, just like up to today, where you are a World Endurance Championship driver?
Yeah. So I mean, if you take a look, where we have some of
let's go to the silverware, because that really looks impressive, Mikkel. You've been collecting over the years.
Yeah. So that's the most expensive wall we have. So of course we have a lot of trophies from karting at the top, but as we moved on and I turned 15, I could race the Formula Ford series. So I did one season in the Formula Ford and won the Danish championship. And then I was actually supposed to drive a Suzuki Swift when I turned 16. Or when I was turning 16, but then there was a new rule change in Denmark which allowed as a 16-year-old to drive the special saloon car.
Without a driver's license.
Without
Amazing.
a driver's license, yeah. So I didn't even get the license for the scooter back then. We bought a Porsche 997 GT3 Cup at the time. The one with
the first one with the old style sequential gearbox. That was an amazing car. I've driven that one.
Yeah, it's a great car. So we bought this when I was 15 and 8 months or something. And then for the new, my birthday's in January, so it's perfect for a race season. I drove a complete race series as 16 years old in the Cup car. And then it went fast. So I did 2 seasons with this, and then immediately in the Porsche Carrera Cup in Scandinavia, where we were winning the first couple of races with the 997. Actually, Porsche in Sweden were not quite happy with this because this was the year when the 991 generation was coming.
So they couldn't have an old car winning.
Yeah, it was not the best.
Reversed advertising.
Because the 997 was actually quite a good car, and we showed that it was even
competitive
at times better than the 991. So we got a really good offer for a 991 car somehow during the year. So they want us to change, of course. So then we changed. I drove the rest of the year with the 991. Then I was invited to the Porsche Motorsport Junior program, contesting there in the 991. First time outside of Europe, outside of Denmark and Sweden, driving the Cup car, and it was great. At the time, I was driving with I think it was Matteo Chaminet who got the seat. But then I really got a first for it, and I was an apprentice mechanic at the time. So I was pretty determined that if I want to go racing, now is the time to go find the funding. So
it's all about funding, obviously.
Yeah, it's always the funding. I mean, my father is a mechanic, mother is a school teacher, so
they're not going to pay for it.
They're not going to pay for it. No. My dad spent, of course, countless of hours in the workshop, always repairing the Cup car, and especially the gearbox was a nightmare. But that's good now. Of course, he's repairing them all the time from people from Europe. Then I took the Toyota Aygo, driving around in Denmark, and knocking on doors and trying to find the budget for immediately going in the Porsche Super Cup. When I was trying to find the budget for Super Cup, and it succeeded. I mean, I have a great network of sponsors now, who all helped me for many years. We stood on the podium in Monaco, won races in WEC in the RSR Porsche, and came third at Le Mans. So we did quite, everything worked out. So new things here to the newest model, of course, with the Evo, we have something called engine braking. So basically we have the TC lat, TC long. So TC, let's say, if you want to adjust it, how much wheel spin you would have going a bit sideways, sliding a bit outside the corner, or how much wheel spin you would allow going more straight out of the corner. So this is 2 things we have from 0 to 10, which we can adjust directly here while driving. But the new thing is also you have an option to change the behavior of the car going into the corner, and this is the Evo update. So now you can adjust something called engine braking. So you see the EB here, and this allows you to basically help rotate the car going in So you brake in, you steer, you go off the brake, and the higher the number you have here allows more rotation. The new car is a 4.2 liter without turbo still.
You say that with a smile. You're more like a natural aspirated man.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is the best sounding car
I agree.
on the grid.
I'm happy you say it without being manipulated to say it.
It's of course, it's like this. It's a Porsche. I mean, the car before the RSR was, of course, a different level, but they managed to make a really good car here with. In the direction of the RSR. I basically grew up in a Porsche, so especially in the rain, I prefer this car any day.
Yeah.
Just having the weight in the rear is just of course it's what's working the most.
Yeah.
Of course, in the dry weather, the Porsche is the more difficult car to drive. Having driven Lamborghinis, Ferraris, and the Ford Mustang as well, these GT3 cars, they are really easy to drive.
Okay, good point.
Especially, last week I drove the Trofeo Lamborghini. It's a car that's on rails. It hurts a bit to say that those cars drive so well, but for me, the Porsche is the proper car.
No, but loving one doesn't mean you have to hate all the others. They're magnificent cars.
They are, so when you get it right with the Porsche, and that's also why you see, especially for the M drivers, when they drive this car, that the gap can be a bigger step comparing other M drivers in different cars.
I often say that this Porsche thing is like a church. You either go to that church or you don't go to that church. You obviously go to it. I go to it, and many of the people I speak to, they kind of, they put their eggs in that basket. They just can perceive themselves as Porsche drivers. And that doesn't mean that the Lamborghini or the Ferrari or whatever is not a magnificent car, because obviously it is. But you're in this church. We're in this church together, Mikkel.
Yeah, we are, for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite track, Mikkel? Is there, you have this? You wake up in the middle of the night. You're doing the motions with your hands. Are you driving a special track in your dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I always loved the Cup cars, and I spend a lot of time in the Cup car. So driving around Monaco is some of my favorite moments in the Cup car. Yeah.
That's a little peculiar, because I've spoken to many drivers who don't really like it because they don't feel they can breathe or move or do anything.
Yeah,
but
it's close, but you scratch the mirrors a bit. Everything is just on the edge, hitting the chicane. The car flies from side to side, and you just go by the wall. That's a great feeling.
Well, you'd be surprised how many say Spa or Suzuka or maybe Mugello, but you like Monaco. Yeah, Monaco. Cheers.
Yeah. Actually, we are completely honest today. When the car was new, the 992 model in Daytona, they were really struggling with the car, and they didn't have a lot of pace. But suddenly during the night, one car lost the rear diffuser and was starting to gain speed.
Oh my God! Don't say it.
So
that's like 50 years of engineering down the drain there, Mikkel.
I don't know, who made it, but afterwards they made it work. So
So you can get too much diffuser action, so that it actually doesn't really help you.
What's next for the team is the Porsche Cup Car and Sprint Challenge in Scandinavia. We will have the rollout in 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. Just as when in the same time, I will go to Long Beach for the race in the Rexy Porsche.
Where you're going to make your $100 bill.
Yeah, I will get my salary.
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Yeah. And then, I go immediately home and meet the guys in Sweden.
And where do you go in Sweden? Is it Mantorp, Anderstorp?
Gelåsen.
Gelåsen, great. Yeah. Wonderful track.
Yeah. So 2 days rollout, and then we will start the year. Yeah.
But tell you what, thank you for having me, and we're rooting for you at JP Group Club, and JP Group is supporting you morally, and I just went to the local gas station for a cup of coffee. He's one of your sponsors, so he said, say hi to Mikkel when you get over there. Now we cross our fingers, and we don't want to jinx it, and we never say good luck in motorsports, but go get him.
Yeah.
Go get him. Thanks a lot. I'm going to just twist the camera like this. We're going to say thank you guys for joining us here at Mikkel O Racing in the northern part of Jylland. And now we know a little bit about your new car, and we know a tiny little bit about your aspirations and plan. We wish you all the best of luck. Ciao. Hey car friends, thank you for watching JP Group Club. This is our new YouTube channel. It's obviously sponsored by JP Group, and we're aiming to tickle you in all the right places with information and entertainment pertaining air-cooled cars from primarily Porsche and Volkswagen. Stay tuned, and we're going to take you through production. We're going to test products at the workshop. We're going to take you to interesting places, drive fascinating cars, and meet relevant people. Help me get this show on the road. Press the subscribe button and like, and whatever you can, share it with your friends, and we're going to make it fly. Thanks a lot for watching.